Well, tonight's episode definitely belonged to Sam and Priscilla. This is my review, my commentary, my breakdown of Tyler Perry's The Oval, Season 4, Episode number 16, titled Problem Diverted. I'm going to be sharing with you everything that went on in tonight's episode, and then I'll let you know what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and how this episode moved the plot along, or didn't. So our first scene opened with Richard and Nancy. And I'm not really sure who got under my skin the most, because Nancy would not believe that she had been drugged, nor did Richard believe that the highest actually killed Barry. Of course, Richard wants to take Nancy to the hospital to have her tested for drugs. He wanted to know if she had taken her medicine, and she said that she didn't need her medicine anymore because the highest has healed her. But before they could take off for the hospital, Nancy needed to turn off the oven first. Gotta turn off those greens and taters. Then we made it to the scene that I really wanted them to show tonight, which was Barry and Kareem and Cuz and Sharon and Dale. And of course, Sharon and Dale are at the door and Kareem won't let him in. The good job, that would not have been a smart move. They have got to get Barry's body out of there, period. So he's telling Sharon that she can't come in, come back later. And of course, she's pissed off. She's like, what are you doing? Who do you have in there? What's going on? So she was really upset, but Dale convinced her to, for them to leave and that they can just come back later, like Kareem suggested. And Cuz is sitting over there in disbelief because he can't believe that Sharon has her own key to his apartment. And Kareem is still nervous and scared. So to calm he and Kareem's nerves, he lit a joint. And they started smoking the joint, and then he said, come on, we got to get him out of here. So they took Barry's body and they wrapped it in plastic. No, they didn't wrap it in plastic. They said they were going to wrap it in plastic. They just dumped him inside of the rug and started to roll the rug. But all this while, look, Kareem is over there in the corner. He just cannot believe this. I mean, can you imagine coming home, finding your enemy in your bed, face down, with a face full of blood, right? So he's still in quite the shock, as he should be. Then in our next scene, we make it to St. Rhodes Hospital, and Donald is standing out in the hallway moping because Officer Heller will not let him take Lily home. And I don't know, Donald is great at giving orders, but he ain't gonna bust a grape. He ain't gonna get his hands dirty for nothing. So he waited for Kyle to get there so that he can tell Kyle what to do, boss him around. He let Kyle know that he's waiting for the doctor to release Lily because Officer Heller won't let her go because he suspects that she's being abused. And he would be correct. So Kyle basically said, don't worry about it. I got your back. But he did ask for permission to, I don't know if they're arresting Officer Heller. How do you arrest a cop? That part just really confused me because right after he asked for permission, he put handcuffs on him. Donald went into Lily's room and he told her, look, get your ish and let's go. She kept refusing at first, but he got her to get up, and she was walking out of the room and saw Officer Heller hemmed up on the wall by Kyle, and she walked over there to him but didn't say anything. She should have told him before they even got there that she was being abused. I mean, it's quite obvious, but they're right there in the hallway. So I'm sure that some nurses saw them, an orderly or somebody. And Officer Heller is just sitting there like he had done something wrong. No one said anything. They just kind of walked away and let Kyle do whatever he wanted to do, per their usual. Since Sharon and Dale could not get anywhere with Kareem, they decided to go over Miss Nancy's house, even though she wasn't at home. Of course, Miss Jody had to let her know this and give her a full rundown report as to what was going on in that house that night. She let Sharon know about the purple robes and the highest with his white robe. She said that Richard left with Nancy, but they didn't tell her anything. So Sharon and Dale went on inside to try and reach Miss Nancy and Richard. So when she called Richard, of course, they're now at the hospital, and he told her that Nancy was okay and that everything was checking out. Then he posed the question with her once again. Have you seen Barry? Have you heard from Barry? Have you talked to Barry? She told him no, and then he said that he'd call her back. Well, it turns out that Nancy is doing A-okay. Her vitals are great. She said that she didn't take any drugs. She did eat and drink something while she was on the compound. The doctor said that her drug test is going to take a while to come back, especially if it was embedded in the food. It's going to take a while. And he told them that he'd call them when he had the results. Now, right before the doctor left the room, Nancy's going to say, oh, I like white people. I like some of y'all. I'm like, did she just say that for real? And yeah, she said it, and then they went home. Then we move on to Eli and Simone. Eli is on his way to the office, and Simone is on her way to the Black Press Consortium, and she wants to take Bobby with her, for protection. And it looks like Eli may have a bit of animosity towards Bobby, because Simone let us know that every time they're all in the room together, that Eli gives him this look, right? Like he doesn't like him, like he has to compete with Bobby on some level. And he would be right. So Max is still on his usual rant, telling Bobby to leave Priscilla alone. And Bobby told Max that he's not better than him. These two are always arguing about something, right? When Eli came out, he let Bobby know that Simone wants him to accompany her to the Black Consortium. So he and Max left for the White House while Bobby went inside the house. And at this point, Simone wants to know if Bobby is gonna actually help her, because I think he was supposed to be like reporting back to her as to what Eli was doing at the White House every day. So she asked him if he was going to help her, and he said that he doesn't think that all the spying around on the vice president is a wise thing to do. And Bobby was like, look, are you ready to go? And she was like, well, I want to arrive fashionably late. Do you want something to drink? And he was like, not really. I'm going to wait for you in the car. Bobby doesn't trust himself around her, and I think that he knows what she's up to. But when he left out to wait in the car, she was disappointed. And while he's outside waiting, Lily called him. But he ignored the call, and he was like, stop calling me. So he doesn't have any love for Lily these days. So back at the Halston residence, Richard's got Sharon on babysitting patrol. After Dale packed up his sleeping bag and pillow, Sharon came down, and Richard told Sharon that he wants her to keep her eye on Nancy for him while he goes off to work. He wants her to basically grill Nancy to see if they did anything to her while she was there. And Sharon was like, yeah, I'll do all of that. Can Dale stay over too? I am so sick of this girl asking everybody, can Dale stay with them? Oh my gosh. Like, girl, what's wrong with you? You don't even have a place to live. So you're inviting someone else to live with someone else while you're living with someone else. Make it make sense, Sharon. But Richard let him stay. So Richard got in touch with Sam, and he told Sam that he was trying to reach him last night because the highest came over. And while he was paying him a little visit, he let him know that they killed Barry. And Sam was like, okay, meet me at the White House. Like, look, this man just told you that a sex-crazed cult leader has killed his son, and your best answer is, let's meet at the White House? Like, I just don't understand. You can't go to the police because you're Secret Service. But what y'all gonna do at the White House? What are y'all gonna do that you haven't already done? Please tell me. I don't know, for some reason, I just feel like we're going in circles. We're going in circles here. Like, doesn't Richard have a reaction to his son being killed? Like, I just really think that Richard may be in disbelief. Yeah, he's in disbelief. This is why he's taking it so lightly. This is why he's wanting to meet Sam. This is why he hasn't shed a tear. This is why he didn't strangle the highest and just put his hands around his neck when he was in his house, because he just really don't believe him, right? This is why we're not getting a reaction out of him. So when Sam got off the phone with Richard, Priscilla came down, right? And she's effing with him. She's laughing. She laughed out loud in his face because he got his handed to him last night in front of their house. And then Richard told her that, he really couldn't take her seriously because he knows that she's doing all of this just to get back at him. And Priscilla let him know that the sweet, faithful, loving wife that you married, she's gone. Like, you've created a monster now. And he was like, no, I've created a simple witch with a B. He called her a simple witch, y'all. Sleeps around with my co-workers. Oh my goodness. Then he told her, guess what he told her, y'all? He said he wants a divorce and that the paperwork has already been filed. Sam. Wow. So she said, since we're getting a divorce, you need to get your ish and have it out of here by tonight so I can make room for Bobby. And this is the part where he told her that if he found Bobby in his bed, that he was going to blow his effing brains out and hers too. Y'all, I have never heard this much cussing in a drama series in ever, right? They were going back and forth like for real. It was so real. It was kind of funny because I've never heard Sam cuss like that. Now we've got David back on the scene, and he called Sam to let him know that he had found Jason. But he told Sam that he had to get there quickly because there were 4 other agents who had their eyes on Jason too. Sam sure is getting around. Didn't he just get shot? Just got shot. But he's everywhere, right? So Victoria is trying to get Hunter to get out of bed and get down to the Oval to try to get some work done, which of course we all know that he's not going to get any work done. And Hunter told her that he wished that someone could pull her teeth out and sew her mouth shut. Then Donald came up to let him know that they had found Jason. And Hunter is in a bit of disbelief here as well. He said, you haven't found him. I can't believe that you found him because I'm the one who told you guys that he was still alive. So how could you have found him that quickly? And Donald told him that they saw Jason driving like one of 2 cars, either his buddy Roman or Donald's assistant Alan. He's been driving Alan's car around. Like, if Jason is supposed to be deceased, and I'm sure that everyone in the country knows what Jason looks like, right? So why hasn't anyone been able to spot him? Because if Donald's men can see him, then other people can probably see him too. So in our final scene, we have Alonzo and Alan. They're both, eager to get to work. And Alonzo, of course, we're going back to this again. He wants to call Sam, and Alan wants to call the chief of staff. So when he's on the phone with Sam, he's telling Sam that he has a package, and Sam really didn't pick up on it initially. So I had to tell him, look, I'm going to send you the address, but you need to come right away. And again, he had to tell him this a couple of times for it to click, for him to figure out what the heck Alonzo was talking about. So once Sam pulled all that together, he let Alonzo know that he and Alan and Jason needed to get out of there because there were men that were on their way. Not their men, but men that are from Hunter's camp. So right before they got ready to leave, they were bum rushed by Hunter and Donald's strike team, and that ended the scene. Now, getting to what I liked about this episode. What I liked about this episode is Sam and Priscilla had the fight, right? The going back and forth. It was real. It was relatable. So that was my favorite part of this episode. My least favorite part, well, I won't quite say it's my least favorite part, but I just really wish Jason would have stayed put when he was out in the cabin. Sam had him all safe and sound, right? No one knew where he was. Everyone thought he was gone. He was dead, right, to the world, but no one knew except Richard. And he had 2 agents there with him who were actually doctors they were taking pretty good care of Jason, and then he just had to leave. So I really didn't like the fact that he ended up in Alan's apartment, and now he's gotten caught. So now it's gonna, they're gonna take him back to the White House, and more of the same stuff is going to be happening. So it's going to have to be under the reins of Hunter, and, something may be different this time because now his father really, he's acting as if he cares about him. So there may be a bit of a switch there. So we'll just have to wait and see. And the way that I feel that this episode moved the story along is Sam and Priscilla are finally getting a divorce. Of course, we thought that Priscilla would be the one to file, and she was actually leaving room for him to make mistakes, leaving room for him to err, right? She was really giving herself a chance to grow. She was giving herself a chance to forgive Sam and really just give him another chance. But all this time, he's already filed for divorce, like seriously, and she hadn't even done anything. So, men and women take cheating differently, right? They handle it a lot differently. So, that was the thing that moved the storyline along, is the divorce. Or the talks of a divorce. So that was a good thing. But that's it for me, guys. How did you guys enjoy this episode? Have you seen it yet? If you have or haven't, let me know your thoughts on either the commentary or the show itself, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, and how you think it moved the storyline along. Let's chat about it in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Tyler Perry's The Oval, go ahead and sub to the channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight's episode of Ruthless TV, you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.